This is Robert Kraft, and we're coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the LD Micro Invitational 2018 in Bel Air, California. With me right now is Dr. Brian Murphy from NEMUS Bioscience, publicly traded company. The symbol is NMUS. Dr. Murphy, welcome to SNNLive.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
It's great to have you on. So, for our audience, let's start off with an overview of the company.
Well, NEMUS Bioscience is a company that's focused on bringing forward medicines derived from the cannabis plant. And those molecules that we're developing are going to be used for major medical conditions, especially those of unmet medical need, focusing primarily on conditions of the human eye, as well as some associated syndromes associated with a number of conditions, such as pain management and anti-infectives.
I'm going to come back to that because I want to know more about the size of the target population. But first, what is the history of the company? When did you start, and how did you develop to where you're currently at today?
Well, NEMUS Bioscience was originally formed in the year 2012. Initially, the company started out as a company that was devoted to developing medical marijuana. But from that transitioned into operating within the drug development space. Part of that development hinged on acquiring licenses from the University of Mississippi, which is the only entity within the United States currently with a federal license to grow, cultivate, and research cannabis, which is the plant that everyone works with, autonomously. So they have an amazing, given the 50-year history of this federal license, they have an amazing intellectual capital related to patents and intellectual property, as well as expertise working with the molecules themselves that are derived from the plant.
So I believe we had NEMUS back on here previously back in 2015. So since then, where's the company currently at in the clinic?
Right now, we are developing our lead product, which, for viewers that may be familiar with some of the constituents of the plant, tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, is the main molecule within the plant. We, through our affiliation with the University of Mississippi, have developed a patented prodrug formulation, and we are developing this particular molecule to bring into the clinic, hopefully within the next 9 to 12 months, for the treatment of glaucoma, which affects millions of people. There are roughly, just in the United States alone, there are roughly 35 million prescriptions written a year for the management of glaucoma. Glaucoma itself can lead to irreversible vision loss, and so this is a major area of urgent medical need, and that's why we're focused on it.
So what about your formulation that makes it potentially unique?
One of the challenges of working with molecules derived from the plant is that, given their chemistry, sometimes it can be challenging in getting that molecule into the human body. By working with our research colleagues at the University of Mississippi, we have bioengineered or reconfigured those molecules to make them more amenable, to make them easier to get into the human body, especially to get those molecules into the eye as it relates to glaucoma and other ocular diseases. So the intellectual property, the patents, are focused on taking that THC molecule and reconfiguring it into a molecule that more readily gets into the human body.
So I know our audience will probably be thinking while watching this interview, well, is there the regulatory risk? Where are we with that?
Sure.
So can you address that topic as well?
Sure. I would like to stress to the audience that while we are in the peripherally the cannabis space, we are a drug development company. So we take the molecules and develop them into medicines, and we follow the traditional regulatory pathways, both in the United States with the FDA, and then in Europe with the Medicines Agency in Europe. we put something called a preclinical package together where we test the molecules in animals first. We present that to the FDA, and then once we receive the go-ahead from the FDA, we then move into human studies.
So just to clarify, you're currently in preclinical, correct?
Correct. We have performed studies in multiple species of animals. Those animals were selected specifically because those are the species that the FDA looks to for their preclinical analysis. We, throughout 2018 and into 2019, we do look forward to having further data both in a species of rabbits, which is one of the species the FDA looks to, and also in primates as well. So we're looking forward, if we are able to adhere to our timetable, to having that data come out in the latter part of 2018. And then based on our feedback from the FDA, we look to get into the clinic in early 2019 for human testing.
And what's your background? How did you get into all this?
My background, I'm boarded in, I'm a physician. I'm boarded in internal medicine and infectious diseases. I left practice roughly 20 years ago to get into the pharmaceutical world. Initially, I was involved in what we call big pharma with Hoffman LaRoche, and formerly I was also chief medical officer at a company called Valiant, which is also a pretty large company with a global footprint. During that time, I worked with a medicine that is currently approved, a medicine called Sezamet. That is a cannabinoid-based medicine. I'm very interested in this field of cannabinoid medicine. The potential for cannabinoids to affect multiple different organ systems in the body opens up a very broad potential as far as new medicines.
And where can our audience go and find more information about NEMUS?
NEMUS maintains its own website, NEMUSBio.com. At that website, we keep our patients and our investors updated with current slide decks, as well as all our regulatory findings, both with the medicines agencies as well as with SEC filings as well.
And that's www.NEMUSBio.com. My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're at the LD Micro Invitational 2018 in Bel Air, California. With me again is Dr. Brian Murphy from NEMUS Bioscience, publicly traded company. The symbol is NMUS. Dr. Murphy, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.